Welcome you to the Wi-Fi lunchtime service. Your service revitalizing fellowships and inner life mastery. I encourage you to allow us to partake fully in every aspect of this service and experience growth with us. I now quickly want to go for our visions and mission. Wi-Fi serves to reveal our divine identity, advocate Christ culture, and equip humanity with relevant engagement in life and ministry. In the atmosphere of unconditional love, trust, faith, and spiritual power. Our mission is to influence the mindset change through revelation of humanity's oneness with the divine, and equip individuals with the truth of who they are, to the intent of having us firmly grounded to empower others to be impactful in every sphere of life. Our core values: unconditional love, uplifting spirit, integrity, selflessness, trustworthiness, and tenacious devotion. We believe that all life begins and ends within the triune Godhead, and all of humanity is spiritually included in the love and life of the divine. We believe this inclusive relationship is delivers timelessly, sustained and guaranteed by the nature of the Father who fills all things. We equally believe in the urgency to make mankind aware of the good news of their redemption from an inferior expression of life to the most attractive and abundant life possible. Relax, take a few deep breaths. Let gratitude and thankfulness to rise within you. Follow with me as I go through these declarations. I recognize and appreciate the God presence within me and express it freely and fully. My every action, intention, and activity is sourced by divine inspiration. Today, my every thought, word, and action is permeated with divine love. I see with clear seeing and live in the joy of pure being. Abundance is my true nature. Freely I give, and freely I receive. I give myself permission to reveal my true greatness. Infinite wisdom and unconditional love are now active in all my affairs. Perfect peace fills me with joy and expresses as my life. I live and give from the realm of inexhaustible good. My word is energized and actualized by the power of divine intention. In all things, I am grateful. How great God is. How grateful I am. And I want to go through this application to God. Father, Mother, God, the embodying presence of all life. May the forces within me now come adjust and attentive to divine prompting, that I may always be awake to the power of your spiritual presence. Father, Mother, God, live my entire life into conscious union with you, renewing me daily in the spirit of love, forgiveness, and fullness of joy. From this body temple of me in which you live, let your goodwill shine forth through my aura, redeeming, consecrating, and perfecting all I see, touch, and relate with. All the holy thoughts of my Father, Mother, God, take up the wings of the wind and the flash of lightning, minister as angels to my soul. God, you are the light, power, and eternal blessing. In you I live always, and to you be all glory forever. This center of the universe within the vastness of my soul, I evoke thee to come forth, O God of all life, all wisdom, all power, all love, and all splendor to flourish through my laudable undertaking. I am one with thee, the great spiritual spirits, because the fullness of you embodies my soul. Let your power, love, and presence shine radiantly through me, guiding all my ways and divine ambition to reveal the brightness of the day. abiding in the center of you, most adorable God. My will and courage are energized by your dream of beauty and power. My ways are filled with the holy influence that they give expression to all your divine attributes within me. In union with you, and as you, and as your power always works through me, nothing in the entire universe opposes my good. All things work for the fulfillment of my will. The spirit of the air is ministering the life presence of God to me, renewing my soul, mind, and body. Spirit of the fire is ministering God's transforming and transmutating grace through me, making me bright. I absorb holy learning from pain. Spirit of the water is ministering God's restoring grace through my life, and I am ever purified and reborn with the fullness of the God presence. Spirit of the earth is ministering God's stabilizing love in my soul. In the fullness of my Godhood, and radiantly perfect in the midst of the element, I successfully create my will to the glory of God. O God, the flame of your divine love and wisdom, purify my mind and will. And you have become the health of my soul, mind, and body. All of the life is assembled working for my highest good. My life has become the never-ending, ever-revealing glory of your mighty magic presence. I take authority over my life and bless every condition I go through to reveal greater good in my life. To you, O Father, Mother, God, the Most Holy, who is the vastness of my soul, be your praise and glory throughout the ages. To your name be the might and power without end. Amen and amen.
Amen and amen. God bless you, Joshua, for such powerful affirmations. We thank God for sorry, I don't know what I've eaten. We thank God for another beautiful Sunday. My voice is giving up on me from last night.
Sorry about that. You're wondering what Mary put in your throat.
We thank God for another beautiful Sunday. Very beautiful day, very beautiful, bright and sunny where I am. I can see the sun from my window here shining. I went out briefly, got my jacket and everything. I stepped out and it was just so amazing. So I put my jacket somewhere. It's beautiful weather for me. The heavens declare his glory. The firmament speaks of his handiwork. The uttereth speech unto day, night, same unto night. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. These things in the household of Wi-Fi, these things gives us joy. It gives us joy. We look at the stars, we look at the sun, we look at the rain, we look at the weeds that people are even clearing from their gardens. And to the extent that we look at the waters flowing through the pipes, and we give glory to God. We give glory to the universe. It gets us so excited. It tells us that something is happening. The world is evolving with us. The universe is doing something good for our benefit, for us and with us. We have said a lot of times in this house that whatever the universe does to you, it does to himself, vice versa. Whatever the universe does to himself, it does to you. I am super excited today, and you know the reason is the same. Because you are here. And I'm here. And I'm ready to enjoy your presence. The God presence that is encapsulated in you as you. I can never have enough of you, Lord. I can never have enough of you, Rev. I can never have enough of you, Joshua, of Mommy. I can never have enough of you. And so every Sunday is just another blessed day in my life. If I have to give testimony, if I have to go to any church and give testimony as I used to, I'll give testimony that I get to see you every Sunday. Seeing you every Sunday and sometimes some occasions for barbecue and stuff is testimony. That is my testimony. Because you're all that I need. And I believe I am all that you need. Something good is happening. Like it always is always happening. And I always say, presence of God, the Spirit of God is mighty on this platform. I don't take it for granted. Joshua always says it in his opening statement. Let me use that word loosely, opening statement. To allow yourself to fully partake and participate in what is happening. If you're joining us for the first time, and I know a lot of people are joining us for the first time, this morning I spoke to somebody about us, and the person said, I'll join you. I'm just coming from when I texted you and I said, give me 10 minutes, I'll be online. I went out, I saw somebody, and you know, I like to engage people. The person was just 2 days somewhere with his daughter, and I began to engage them. And I said, come. And he said, I'll come. I'll come. Something good is happening. Something good is happening. Something good is happening now to you, in you, as you. The entrance of his word gives light and it gives understanding to those of us who don't have in certain areas. And our encounter with Spirit every day teaches us, brings us to something that we've never seen or opened our minds to before. It awakens us even as we draw fluency from the Spirit, we draw inspiration from the Spirit that is in us. It opens us up to another dimension of the universe, another dimension of God, another dimension of Spirit that we are yet to encounter. Jesus said, it's expedient for you that I go. And when he comes, when you become aware, I want to use it exactly as you said, when you let go of the objectification of Jesus Christ as being the only divine person and you begin to embrace your divinity, you begin to embrace your oneness. That is when you begin to, when he said that, when the scripture puts it that when he comes, he will unravel the reality of every truth inside of you. Means that when you embrace your oneness with God, when you embrace your divinity, you begin to understand, you begin to live, you begin to experience, have an experience of all that has already been in you, of all that was in you before the beginning began. God did not make you and then put something in you. So as if like he made you go and then later I'll come and put something in you. You are that something that he made. That's something that you think you are. That's something. That something has been in you before the beginning began. He made you with that something. And when you look into yourself and appreciate and understand and come to terms with the fact that as he is, so are you. You are God. You are Christ. You are divine. You are all that he is, all that he can ever be. You'll begin to enjoy that liberty. You begin to enjoy that freedom. You begin to walk without fear, without limitation. And that is why we do what we are doing. I pray that even as you have joined us or you have joined in, you will live here with a better understanding of yourself, of who you are, of the universe, of God, of the spirit that you are of. Jesus said something. He said, when the disciples said, let us command fire to come and consume them as Elijah did. He said, you cannot do that. For you don't know which manner of spirit you are of. You don't understand. You don't understand who you are. You don't understand. Elijah did not understand who he was. You don't understand who you are. If you understand who you are, that you are loved, your appearance brings light. Your appearance brings illumination where there is darkness. Your appearance brings things that do not exist. You command things to come to forth. You are the creator, and you understand that. And I think that is why we are here. That is why I'm so eager for this session. God bless you, even as you are glued to your seat. I hand over, Rep.
Thank you, sir. We all know. Hold on, let me just send this quick message. Okay. So last week, we started with a series from cave to space, unboxing emotions, senses, emotions, feelings, and thoughts. And we helped ourselves with can I say examples or some explanations of or explanations or definitions, if you want to put it as well, of some of these concepts. Let's refresh ourselves a little bit. What did we come up with in our bid to better understand? Because as I said, in as much as sometimes we use some of these words interchangeably, beyond this way. Those of you who can put your videos on, can you please do us a favor? It's like you saying that you know when we are in the traditional church, it's you turning off your video is like you leaving the room to go stay outside. That's actually what it means. To be fair, there's no excuse.
I'll turn it on. I'm just trying to sort something out here, please.
Should have sorted that thing out before it came. Yeah. Okay. So, what did we talk about? What did we come up with in the differences?
I think last week we did start senses, emotion, thoughts, and feelings. We talked about what senses are, that they are not the mechanism that allow us to interact with our natural world. Just talking about the 4 or the 5 senses that we all know about. Is it 4 or 5?
Yeah. Are you asking me or telling me?
Touch. Let me see if I touch, taste, hearing, sight, and what did somebody help me? Touch, taste,
No.
smell. Thank you very much.
No.
Yeah. And we did see that there's a sixth sense, which for us in the household, this household, we really encourage and then we train ourselves, which is intuition. As being part of the senses. Yeah. I remember you did say that senses are more physiological, if I'm right. Physiological, whereas the emotions are psychological. And you did draw the difference between emotions and then feeling. Yeah, you did say emotions are psychological, as I said, and they talk about the three distinct components. I think I got it somewhere. I don't remember, but I got it somewhere. They talk about the three distinct components of emotions. You have the subjective experience, the physiological reaction, and the behavioral response. Yeah. And then the feeling, which really made sense after I was thinking about it. That's when I realized that indeed there are difference between feelings and then emotion. Feelings are the conscious, subjective experience of our emotion. So something happens, which is emotion, and then the experience that you put to it, you draw. Okay, this thing that has happened. Okay, I'm feeling happy. So the experience, subjective experience that you put to that emotion, and that is the feeling. Yeah. And so something I was just pondering about, then something drops in my mind. Something happened. Where somebody got a promotion. Some of us had wanted it to be somebody else. So it was emotion was good, like, but I wasn't feeling happy. I didn't put that feel. I wasn't feeling happy for the person who had it because I wanted somebody else to have it. The emotion is there, the emotions were there, but whatever I put with the feeling I put with was different from how it would have been if it was someone else. It did make sense. The difference you put did make sense. And I did talk about thoughts being the cognitive processes that happens in the framework of our mind. So what we're thinking about, our experience, our thinking, all the things that happen in our mind, the thoughts. Yeah.
And this is the most elaborate summary you've given in the past 3 years. Bonzamao.
This week I listened to last week like 3 times too.
At least you're making an effort to answer what's it called to save your spot, which is good. Thank you. I'm happy. I think you can continue today's session. I'll be.
Back I said everything.
He hasn't said everything. There's some stuff that he didn't touch on.
Yeah, the reason well, we did talk about the difference
Sit back a
between
bit. Sit back a bit.
we did talk about
Yeah,
the difference between emotions, feelings, and what was the third one?
Senses, emotion, feelings, and thoughts.
So if you think of it in that sense, logically,
Mhm.
it helps. Senses, emotions, feelings, thoughts. Let's put an acronym to it. SEFT. Senses, emotions, feelings, thoughts.
And I didn't want to repeat this because that's what I remember saying. I remember what I said. As to if it's correct, I didn't want to repeat it, but I remember saying that your emotions are feelings.
You're still saying that.
You see, that's why I don't want to say it. So it's wrong.
Emotions are strong feelings.
Exactly. Yeah, so I mean, I do agree with what Minister Kweku said. So let's move on from there.
That sounds so funny, Minister Kweku.
I said Minister Kweku, I didn't say.
That's what I'm saying, Minister Kweku. Minister Kweku sounds so funny, man.
I have different names for him, depends on the day.
Okay. Jay, I'm literally just following my, what does it call it, as the pictures or the tiles appear on my screen. What do you want to chip in, Jay? I know you've got some exciting stuff to say.
No, so what's he get? Uncle said everything I wanted to say about. Uncle said everything I wanted to say, really.
Is there anything else? Is there anything else that you think you missed out?
No, well, not that I can add.
That's even about the priest.
Oh, is Ario making a contribution?
No.
Or is just being funny in the background? Okay. Okay. Has Ika got anything to add to it? Or she is here, she's put her phone away and making soup. Okay. No, please. Okay. All right. So it's okay. Thanks very much.
The
Basically just
elaborate contribution.
Yeah. Go over the 3 components again.
Yeah, so the emotions,
Yeah.
there are 3 distinct components of emotions: the subjective experience,
Yeah.
the physiological reaction, and the behavior response.
Behavior response. So the subjective experience is down to interpretation. See? And then as you interpret it, or the interpretation you put on it, will naturally yield or produce something in you physiologically, whether it's panic, fear, anxiety. Yeah. Then that finds expression through you. And we see it and we call it, oh, he's exhibiting this particular emotion. So I'll ask the question whether or not we have control of our emotions. I want us to think about it. And I'll ask it again. So I've just put that question there. Think about it. Do we have control over our emotions? I've said this a few times. We don't really have control over our thoughts. That's the truth. We don't. You don't. The same as you don't know what molecule of breath is going to hit you in the next minute. In the same stretch, you don't know what string of thought will hit you the next minute. What we have control over is how far we take that thought. Which is dictated by how we identify with the thought, how we relive it, how we rehearse it, and how, again, we interpret and nurture the thought. You have a thought of having Jack Daniels with Coke, for instance. It's a thought that comes to the mind. I can bet you if you don't already imagine that, if you don't go beyond it and think of a glass in your hand, how it feels, how it feels in your throat, how it's knocked you out, after 3 glasses, and how you are so relaxed, you don't care about anything, and all your problems are gone. If you don't carry yourself in that thought will come and go, just like the cloud passes. See that beautiful sister on the road, and you behold, oh, look how she's beautiful, she's gorgeous. And the thought doesn't go beyond you beginning to undress them in your mind and thinking of all the things that you could be doing to them and how you could be mishandling and harassing the various parts of their body. It is a thought that will come and just go. It's the holding on to the thought and flirting it, rehearsing it, playing over and over and over again. That is what makes it sink into our feelings. It's as simple as that. It's not hard. It's not hard at all. So the hard bit is to train ourselves to know how to deal and how to handle with how to handle thoughts, how to handle the feeling of emotion. And that's why we're doing this. Guard your heart with all diligence. Out of it are the issues of life. Our thoughts trying to wreck us or help us. They are seeds. Where you plant them and how you nurture them determines the fruit they yield or deliver. So, one way to also, I'm not sure if I said this last week, one way to also look at, when we look at thoughts, feelings, one way to also make the distinction is that emotions are often before your awareness comes to them. Yeah? But the feelings are a conscious experience. So emotions are the raw materials. Okay? They are universal. You can't do nothing about emotions. But our feelings are purely dictated by our personal experiences, our history, our cultural context. So if culturally or growing up, you have associated someone calling you a fool with embarrassment, anytime you hear fool, the feeling of embarrassment accompanies it. You grow up in a culture, in England, for instance, or British culture, where someone can call you a dickhead and with a smile on the face, and both of you can smile about it. He says that and there's no feeling of embarrassment whatsoever to it. I just give us that example because we can relate to that. You understand? My wife calls me a dickhead all the time, and I don't rip her head off or anything like that. We have a laugh about it because when she says that, I know exactly what she means. She's not saying that to disrespect me. She's just being like, come on, stop being silly. You know, and we have a laugh about it. I'm not going to go angry. Why? Because of a certain cultural conditioning. So it's no big deal. Traditional British culture, I'm just saying how feelings are dictated by our cultural experience, and sometimes dictated apart from personal experience, is also dictated by cultural context. A child can say to your mom, stop being silly, mom. The mom will not feel insulted by it. They will feel nothing. Just my kids look at, come on, so you're embarrassing me. Come on, stop it. You know, and I won't feel they are disrespect. I don't consider that disrespect. Try that back in Africa. Same thing. My parents will probably dress you down. Ooh, you know, how dare you? Language, cultural context. See? So does that help us understand the difference? Yeah. So most of our feelings, we have control of our feelings. We control it. We dictate it. Control might be the wrong word, but they are rehearsed. They are rehearsed. We choose them. Universally, when we lose someone, we get sad. That is a universal emotion accompanied with physical death, isn't it? You can't control it. It's universal. But someone being wrecked, being afraid to sit with a dead body and all of that, and the feeling of illness that comes with it, it's all cultivated. It's not universal because in some traditions, you dress up the dead and sit with it, caress it even, and all of that. There's nothing attached. But if you've been conditioned culturally to think that someone is dead and all of a sudden, hey, the ghost can come and do something to me, and all, you know, it becomes a dreadful feeling. I'm not sure. I'll look for that video. I'm sure you've probably seen it before. It's in my file somewhere. the guy who made a recording to be played at his grave, and they're kind of making mockery of death at his grave, and they're playing it. They were stood there, the family stood there, they were lowering him into the grave, and everyone was just giggling with laughter because the recording was so funny. But there's an experience that people take, like get emotional about it, and you see, here's the emotion of sadness is there, but the experience of letting it wreck you, and the fear, the panic, the anxiety that comes with it, is all dictated by culture and interpretation. A dark road is a dark road. A lonely road is a lonely road. It's just what it is. But you dreading passing a lonely path is a feeling you have created. Because all of a sudden your mind goes to when someone told you they were walking a dark alley and someone came and clapped them and took their stuff from them and robbed them, and you generate all these feelings with it, even though there's no apparent danger on that path. You create that feeling, and as you walk in there, you're already in dread. That is not an emotion, that is a feeling you've created. How are we helping ourselves? And I gave the example of when, let's say, someone encounters a bear, and I remember I'm mentioning a lion in there, and he just had a laugh about it. You know, naturally, was it yourself I was having this conversation with Ahmad the last time, by the fact that lions and man is not lion's food. Yeah. For a lion to rip a man apart, he ought to be very, very hungry. You know, but a bear or a cheetah can attack a human being for no reason. So the rapid heartbeat you feel, or the sweating someone may feel when they encounter a bear in the woods, is a physiological response to what they perceive as danger. Okay? But when that physical response turns into intense fear based on the person's understanding or perception of the situation, that is a feeling. Because there are men who hug bears, who play with bears. There are men who play with tigers. Some have even got some of them lions and tigers as pets. So you choosing to have intense fear at the sight of them, it's not an emotion, it's a feeling. I can go on and give tons and tons of examples, but all of this is just to help us understand it. So these are interlinked. Your senses will give the input, the raw material, and the emotion is the output out of it. That's the psychological response. So how through your senses you are assessing or accessing the raw data, the inputs that you're getting, okay, and the output, which is the psychological response to that sensory information, is the emotion, which may trigger, which then triggers a feeling based on your secondary interpretations, the context you put to it. Happy? Is that okay? All right. So I just thought for us to chip this in because to help us understand this, one thing that I believe is useful for us to appreciate is the key differences between male and female makeup. Okay. Why subconsciously or traditionally, like a man cries and it's like, oh, come on, stop crying, you're a man. But a woman cries in a certain circumstance and is seen as okay, even though they are both humans. Okay. So I want us to explore a little bit what role our physiological makeup impacts our psychological makeup and what part it plays in our sensory perceptions, interpretations, our emotions, our feelings, and our thoughts. Okay, because okay, maybe I'm even preempting it. Does it even matter? Does gender or sex make a difference in our sensory perceptions and our emotional or our emotional interpretations and our feelings? Does gender have any part to play at all? Let's think about it. I'm loving this session. I love it. Someone was asking someone was asking me over the course of the week, like, I've been watching your videos on YouTube, and is it a church or what? I'm like, what does it look to you? Like, you people don't even quote the Bible, you don't read any scriptures or anything like that. But I'm like, what I'm saying, is it helping you? No, it's true, no, but you need to give scripture reference. I'm like, seriously, so before the Bible came, how were people living? What were they using as reference? Religion came to meet man here. Come on, let's wake up. Man was here way before religion came. Man was here way before any book came. So I'm not going to limit myself with a book. Carry on.
They seem to forget that God said in the Bible that He will write His word on the tablets of their heart.
Yeah.
Oh.
Exactly. It's always been. The word is nadi in your heart, even in your mouth, which is the word of faith, which we speak unto you. In your heart. I remember when I shared this video yesterday, when Obofo said that, I think about a couple of years ago, when he said that there is nothing in the church, or sorry, and he made some people were castigating him. He made a very profound statement that God will bypass. So you need to tell me God will bypass my body to go and meet me in a certain building. There's a problem with that. Anyway, carry on.
Look back to the question. You said you're asking if
So does
gender
have any part to play in our sensory perceptions, emotional or the emotional differences? Has gender got any part to play?
Well, generally, yes, I believe that gender does have a part to play because women are tend more emotional than men because of their obviously how they've been created. So I believe that because there are things the way I look at things is way different from how you look at things. You know, I might get emotional about things. I'm looking at things emotionally or situations emotionally. You're looking at it logically, you know, and that's how most relationship or how men and women look at things in different relationship or life in general. Yeah, so I believe that women tend to look at things more emotionally than men. Not that they don't have emotions.
No, I understand. You know, it's one of those words that I think, or I'm hoping that by the time we've been through, we are done with this session, we can also help address. I like how you put it. I like how you put it. That women tend to We know we say this, that women are more emotional. It's as if we have put a subjective definition to an emotion. Someone being rigid is also an emotion. You understand?
Mhm.
And these are some of the constructs that I want us to begin to unbox, because we have connected emotions with someone being weak, frail, frivolous, and being or having a sense of a deep or intense feeling. And when someone is not coming up as exhibiting any identifiable feeling, we say that, oh, they've got no emotions. Or when someone is like blunt in the face of a circumstance which should make them sad, they are like, they don't have any. That is that also not an emotion?
Yeah, that, well,
Yeah. Go on.
that's what I'm saying. That's why I said that it's not like men don't have emotions, but
Hmm.
I'm
No,
looking
I
at it.
wasn't really attacking your question. I'm only trying to kind of bring. We say these things and we use these statements, but we don't really stop to think about it. Yeah, go on.
Yes. So I'm looking at it from the perspective of how we like men and women look at things or address situations. You
Yeah, go on,
get, so
please.
let's say if it involves a child, for instance, a woman will be looking at, oh, how you're not considering how the child is feeling, or they are crying, or they are in pain. But the man probably be looking at it, oh, they need to man up, or they need to woman up, whatever we call it. They need to get their acts together. But the woman is probably thinking about how the child is feeling, all based on their own perspective as well. That's how I'm looking at it.
Thank you. That's quite useful. Thank you. Any more?
Well, I agree with what of Mami said. I know I've not really researched into that. I don't know the reason why, but I would say yes, gender plays a major role in how we in emotions.
That bro for now we use you and
For me.
Yeah, man, you used it yesterday and I tagged you.
Which one?
He just used it. You don't know the.
But what he's saying, we understand.
You don't know the.
Brakweku, please continue.
You don't know the.
Huh?
You don't know the. He said he doesn't know the what?
The reason.
Good. Don't let me catch you saying the reason why ever again in your life. You don't know the reason, or you don't know why.
No, you see, explain that some of our culture also plays a role in how we speak.
Thank you.
So don't
go.
If I'm writing to the queen, I'll know what to write.
Exactly.
Anyway. And yeah, gender plays a role because rightly as of Mame saying, I mean, the number of women that I've known, and as I've known, like not the Bible kind of knowing. Like Abraham knew Sarah and they gave birth, not that. That no is dangerous, but women tend to interpret things differently from men. So when someone was saying that, so the sort of expressions or the sort of feeling that men is that not emotion. Men also have emotion. So something will happen is the same emotion, but I will interpret it differently. Women will interpret it differently. That's the reason I want to know, because I've not looked into it, but there must be something why it is so. Because and mostly emotions are associated with like negative, crying, sadness. When somebody's happy, we don't call it emotion. So when you say, oh, you are too emotional, it's when the person is crying or the person is complaining or the person is feeling sorry or those sort of. So when somebody is very happy, or we don't say, oh, the person, you are too emotional. It's something that I believe as we go on, we would understand. So I want to think so. Yes, gender plays a role in that.
So that means we put negative connotations to emotions.
Sort of, yes. That's what we've done over the years.
Okay. What's the difference between sex and gender?
Which of the sex? As a male, female, or
That's the one that's just.
Jay, your line is a bit muffled. Can you be clear? Because I expect an answer from you, my professor. You give me a.
That's why he's saving the mom and the uncle.
He's giving you a chance to think about it.
No, whatever he says will be the truth, so we won't even think about it.
From what I know, sex is the one given to you by birth, like from your genes, whilst gender is more, but the person chooses. I don't know.
Yeah, it's basically it. Thank you. So sex is just simply male, female.
So
It's a physical and about it's just the physical and biological aspects of of an individual. It's just purely down. He used genes, but I would say it's purely down to hormones, reproductive anatomy, and interestingly, the chromosomes. You see, how many pairs of chromosomes do we have in the human makeup? Let's do some science here. Huh?
2
Pairs.
pairs.
Yeah.
1 or
No.
4. 4.
No, don't guess. If you don't know, just say you don't know.
You know why an X chromosome?
Pairs.
That's why I know.
How many do we have?
23 pairs, isn't it? 23 pairs, because 46 in total.
23 pairs. Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you.
You're going to pass your biology. Hey. Hey, start.
I didn't do biology, I did geography.
So 23 pairs, okay, 23 pairs of chromosomes, 23 pairs of chromosomes in our makeup, 22 of which are the same. Yeah? And there's only one pair that is either XY in a male and XX in a female. But your science teachers didn't go deeper into it, so they only told you XY chromosomes and XX chromosomes. Yeah, but 23 pairs, 22 of it are the same. And the one pair, which is that the XY and XX, that ultimately is what dictates the sex that is assigned to us at birth. Okay? So we can either be assigned male, female, or intersex. Okay? So intersex, obviously, the people really have no distinct male traits, or they don't have predominant male or female traits. Okay.
I was going to say that we should clarify the sex bit. Is it the verb or the noun?
Talking about it now. Okay. If we're really talking about, we're comparing gender and sex, so we have picked the context. So stop letting your mind drift. Okay. So we know that there are some people with, in quotes, ambiguous genitalia. So, but I don't want us to go too much into that.
Where are your homework?
But what we will need to understand is this. Please, if you want to talk about homework, can you mute yourself?
Sorry.
Okay. So, and to kind of give us an indication of the importance we attach to this, what is the one thing, we've got some females here, or even males, what is the one thing on the mind of any or any male or female when they are expecting a child? The primary thing on their mind.
Sex, boy or girl.
The sex. The child. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? We all get excited about it. We want to know. And the truth is, whether we've said is whether we like it or not, they can only be the two sexes. I dare say those who claim that they are more when they're expecting babies, they wouldn't go out. There's nothing else to. There's nothing else. There's the two. It's ones and zeros. I've said this a few times. Binary. Okay. So it's either 1 and 0 if it's 0, or it's 0 if I one across, or 1 0 if I one in between, which is still okay. Anyway, so it's just that. Okay. And we need to also appreciate, because like you how the male and female, the more I think about this, or the more I've thought about this in the past. Okay, I've shared this with you before. We've done tips on it back then when we did a bit about the anatomy. We went into creation, talking about male, female created Eden. And I said that at some point I was meditating, and it just struck me that when he says that the woman was taken from the side of or from the rib of a man, it doesn't necessarily mean that a rib was taken from the side of the man and then used to manufacture a woman. That's not how I see it. But they were created as a pair, and they were just separated. So it was side to side, they separated, and now they could see their faces. Okay, that is if that story is as it is. Then that is the interpretation I put to it. Male, female created them, and then they were split like Siamese twins on the side, split on the side, and now Adam, or the male he could behold the female opposite, as opposed to being on the side. That is how I understand it. Okay. All right. So male, female created them is also true biologically. At what age during the gestation period are we able to positively identify the sex of a child or the sex of the fetus?
20.
At what age?
20 weeks.
20 weeks, like 5 months, from 5 months thereafter, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite strange, isn't it? So technically, up until that point, everything is the same. There's no, there aren't any predominant, there isn't a predominant distinction. Science proves that. And then, even when we claim to have identified the sex, it's not because there is a hormonal determination of it. It's just signs of what hangs in between the legs. It's what they use. If they can see bits beginning to protrude and extrude, then they're like, oh, because we can see that there is a male, isn't it? It's still very, very subjective. That tells us that we have more similarities than differences. The male and the female organ, they don't split up until about 6 months into, but they don't become pronounced until about 6 months, or thereabout, getting 6 months into pregnancy. It's interesting. The penis is an inversion of the vagina. That's why it fits perfectly into it. These days, people fit bananas and cucumbers and carrots and stuff into there, but yeah, let's look at it on the what call it on the products. Come on, I know that expression on your face. Okay. Okay. I'll send you a video after this. Yeah, I'll send you a video after this. I'll send you a video. Oh God, it's one video in my archive. I was watching it yesterday. I loved, but it's crazy. Anyway, so it stands to reason why it's 12-12, by the way. It stands to reason why there will be differences dictated by our physiology. So a person whose sex is female, as I said, will typically have 2 X's, and the hormones. What are the 2 main female hormones? Help us. It's a biology lesson as well, because all of this will become apparent. So what? The two predominant female hormones.
Can you elaborate, please?
The two predominant female hormones. One starts with an E, the other starts with a P.
What? Estrogen and proestrogen?
Estrogen and what?
Proestrogen?
Yeah, and progesterone. What's called progesterone? Yeah. Estrogen and progesterone. Okay. So
Estrogen begins with an O.
Hmm?
Estrogen begins with an O.
No, is an E, sir.
Oh, well, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I challenge you on that. Okay. So for the female, and then there will also be, as we know, secondary characters to it. And all of these, it's good we talk about hormones because hormones also predominantly influence certain behavioral patterns in humans and also emotions and feelings. Okay. That's why when the women naturally, I have friends who tell me that when they're doing their period, they get excessively weepy. They can weep for no reason. And they are not even trying. They become very pecky during that time. They don't have any physical control over them. But once you become aware, you accept that, okay, so this is what is happening in me. That's why I'm feeling, and I told them, there are a couple of them who shared the experience with me, and the only thing I've said is there are two ways to look at it. Someone can just become a wreck, in quotes, during that time because they're like, oh yeah, when I'm in my period, I get emotional, I cry, and I become sensitive and da. So deal with it. Or another person from an empowered place would appreciate the fact that, okay, based on my observation, I tend to be this, in quote, this emotionally vulnerable in this when I'm at this period in the month. So how do I make the most of it? What do I do to ensure that I don't become unnecessarily burdensome? Okay, and there are ways to go around it. Do you understand? There are ways to go around it. You can, every time an emotion is rising in you, there's a certain point, if you are alert, you catch yourself before you fall for the emotion, particularly if it's one that has a tendency to bring you down. There's a certain point you pick it up before it overwhelms you. Identify that spot and then ride it instead of letting it ride you. It's key. We all know when we are getting angry. We all know it. But the only difference is, instead of you taking that deep breath and asking myself, what in me is getting angered by this? How do I channel it? What do I use it for? What is this emotion for? That brief thought on it. We just accepted that, yeah, I have the right to be angry, and then blah, 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 blah. Just blurt it out and just misbehave and then blame our emotions. No, you had control over it. The emotion was building up, but the feeling, you chose it. Okay. And for males, we know testosterone, T word, we all love it. So these loosely dictate or the influence our emotions, they influence our feelings. So that's where this concept comes from, that your psychology is in your biology, or our psychology is in our biology. Or there's an aspect of study called biological psychology, essentially looking at how our biology dictates or influences our psychology. Is it too technical? Wi-Fi is an institution, Wi-Fi is a university. So deal with it. Because again, you're muted yourself.
It's not technical. It's good.
Yeah. Okay. Because with a church that focuses on that focuses that deals predominantly with mind science, it's important for us to kind of understand some of these things. Unless we want to go to just clapping and jumping around, dancing around, and not having anything in our brains. I'm not ready for that. Oh, that's not a nice thing to say. Anyway, so what are some of the psychological differences between males and females? Oh, so yeah, I spent a lot of time there talking about what does it call it? We were talking about the difference between male sex and gender. So I touched on sex, but loosely. Gender is just socially constructed roles, expectations, and behaviors that we assign to sexes. It's not. You understand? Gender stems from sex. We don't have gender without sex, but we can have sex without assigning gender roles. It's a role. Okay. Yeah. Do you agree?
Yeah.
So that's broadly. I brought that up because sometimes we use them interchangeably, but they aren't the same. That's why we have so many gender identities these days. We have cisgender, non-binary, agender, gender fluid, transgender, and all that crap. You know, they are only social constructs. They aren't biological. Gender isn't biological, even though it's assigned based on sex, isn't biological, but sex is biological. That's what I know for now. If I come to know anything different tomorrow, I'll tell you. That is what I know as of today. Is that fair? Okay. Yeah. So what have we identified based on our study, based on our experience, based on our observation, as being some of the psychological differences between male and females? We've loosely touched on some of these in our earlier conversation, but yeah. If we take, okay, let me try and see if I can get an example. So we take an emotional recognition, the recognition of emotions, for instance. Men and women, broadly, which of us would you say are better at detecting expressions of disappointment and disgust? Would you say men or women?
I would say women.
Anyone have a different answer?
Can you repeat the question?
Between men and women, which of us is more inclined to detect or better detect expressions of disgust or dissatisfaction?
I don't know.
Okay, that's also an answer. So there's one that says women, there's one that says I don't know. Which of these sexes is more predominantly sensitive, or most predominantly sensitive to the expression of disgust?
Women.
Okay, so I will also say women. Why do we think that is?
Because it's an emotional thing. Well, I don't know.
Any thought? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, because even myself, what I'm thinking about is just based on an interpretation per se. It might not necessarily be it, but because anyone. Why is that?
Well, I say women because I mean I want to say based on the experiences that I've had with a lot of people. As to why they do that, I don't know.
I think the girls put something in the chat. What is she saying?
No, look. So I think women tend to be more open about issues, but men suppress their feelings.
Okay. So in answering the question I asked, I don't know, but I also feel it's because like women naturally spend more time in upbringing, don't they? Isn't it? Or they spend more time during the formative times of life, and maybe because they are exposed to traits of things that could injure or impact life, they tend to be sensitive to. They tend to be. I'm just saying. I'm just trying to explain it from that perspective. It brings that natural edge of, or the natural tendency to identify things which they find uncomfortable, disgusting more than men would. If a child is messy, unless the woman is a very messy woman, a mother will be more prone to get a child changed than a father would. True. Unless the woman is just messed up, but in ideal circumstances, what the man may feel, oh, yeah, it's okay, that's all right. The man will be like, nah, you need to change, you need to do it, you need to do it. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just looking at it from that perspective. That's what is making me think that women will be more likely to have a higher sense of emotional recognition than men. Loneliness, male and female, which of them are more prone to the emotion of loneliness? Oh, yeah.
Women.
Okay, Sika thinks both. Jay, what do you think?
Women.
Women. Okay. So those who are saying women, what makes you think so?
Well, I would say women are obviously more tend to express these things. Oh, I'm lonely, I need somebody in my life, I'm lonely, I need a partner. A woman would growing up would be thinking, oh, they need to be married, and I don't know if the motive is for a partner, but a man could go and not just enjoy life, meet this one here, will not naturally sit and be lonely. Would usually will hang out, that kind of thing. If I'm taking it.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you're actually fusing my second point into the point that you're making now, like leisure activities, being more prompt to leisure. Yeah, go on, please.
Yeah, would tend to be more that way, outgoing and all of that. And sometimes it goes back, it stems down to upbringing as well.
I like that.
Yeah. So yeah.
So society has got, or our social settings have got a big part to play in this, don't they? So we all of a sudden begin to appreciate how our societal constructs or cultural settings impact how we express feelings and how our emotions are cultivated. So men generally spend more time relaxing and engaging in leisure activities compared to women. That is a fact. It's not a perception, it's a fact. And I think that has come about as a result of societal expectations and responsibilities. Whereas in certain cultures, you expect the woman to be home cooking, looking after children, doing all of that, The man is just about roaming about, just fooling around, or messing around. Yeah. Okay. I was reading a document. If I find it, I'll share it. Years ago, when it was saying that it's been reported that men are more lonely earlier in life, and women tend to experience more loneliness later in life. And that was some interesting document to read, which also highlighted the life expectancy of both men and women, in the fact that there are more widows than there are widowers. Yeah, there are predominantly more widows than there are widowers, which presupposes that men die earlier and leave women behind, that women die leaving men behind. How often do you even hear the word widower? It's very uncommon, isn't it?
Yeah, because even if his wife dies within 1 year, you marry another one.
That's what it is. Yeah, it's uncommon. Yeah. Yeah.
We call your brother-in-law a widower? No, we can't.
Well,
Mhm.
so it's saying maternal mortality is making it common. Yeah, well, so I can tell you for a fact that's a perception. If we pull, I was having this chat, someone put the same argument, but it's the actual facts speak contrary to that thought. Yes, it's true that women lose lives in childbirth, but the fact of men dying ahead of women, it's the ratio is so wide. They have conducted studies as far back as 70s up until now, and yeah, the ratio is so big. Interestingly, I think whose show was I watching? When I find it, I'll drop it. He was even talking. There were records of people dying at one gentleman, like a few of them dying past 90 years, 90, 101, 103, and they are still survived by wives and partners. It's just crazy. So yes, it's true that it could be that maybe what the study fails to point out is whether it's their first issue, second issue, third issue, or whether they've had let's say a relatively younger partner or whatever. But some of them it highlighted the ages of the surviving partner, and the age difference wasn't wide. It considered one study considered partners with no wider than 5-year age difference, and they put that into they took that into account, and overall, the ratio was still quite staggering. Not even 70-30. It was wider than that. Scary. Yeah. Okay. Right. So let's look at language use. Use of language.
There's a question down there.
Oh, sorry. Can you read it for me, please?
Sky is asking, not to take us away from our subject, but why do men die earlier?
There are tons and tons of factors. Tons and tons of factors.
Because they are using more energy than they should.
Is that what you think it is?
Yes, God has given one. They are energy on thousands of women.
I will. That's your perception. I don't necessarily subscribe to that. Has anyone got any answer to that? Hmm? Has anyone got any answer to that? Hmm? I think yes, the subject of energy comes in, but it's not because they give their energy to they give the energy to women. Broadly, men also they or we do or we get engaged in more vigorous activities. We do stuff that are have the tendency to wear us. We do more daring, more dangerous stuff than women will do. All of that come into play. So I think it's interesting the amount of material I've read around this subject. Where it was one publication from the Harvard Medical School. I think it was the 2003 health publication. Yeah, 2003 was when I read that. They found out that the average lifespan of women is 6 years longer than men in the US and Western Europe. And outside of that, like worldwide, the worldwide average life expectancy of women to men is 7 years. So by the age of 65, you have approximately 67 to 70% of the population over 85 are women. That's huge, isn't it? Yeah. I know there are, if we are to really look at the numbers, there will be more things to fuel that reality, but broadly, I think we work a lot more, we work a lot harder.
Yes, and I think in certain, I would say lifestyle as well, probably, it all comes down from
excessive alcohol intake,
alcohol, drinking, smoking.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so there are a few factors.
So the freedom from childhood contributes to that in the long run, as compared to women.
Yeah. Interesting. I've really enjoyed the session. I don't know if anyone else has. And those of you who are looking for Bible quotation, Pastor K will give you one.
He's behind the scenes looking for it, so that's why you can't see his face.
He's looking for scripture. What they call it too. Yeah. Okay. Should we close? He said yes, please, because you're tired. Or is it because you're not finding it exciting? Okay. All right. Beautiful. Any last words from anyone? Any question? I was intending for us to use the session to drill into a little bit of the influence of sex on this, and I think we managed to bring out a few exciting stuff, a few juicy bits to help us along. If there aren't, has anyone got any more questions? If there aren't, we'll do a meditation session. I done this with the boys this morning, and I think it will be good to do with it will be good to do with the verse as well. Okay, so the question of loneliness wasn't really answered. Oh, okay. Did I not? I thought I did.
Well, we said women would tend to be more lonely, and then that's what led to the
Which dies early and all of that.
yeah.
Yeah. Or it wasn't satisfactory enough for you. Oh, if you have any subsequent questions, or if there is an angle to it that you'd want us to capture, please let me know and we can look at it. But I thought, yeah, or maybe I didn't say categorically that I thought this. But, what did you just type? Okay.